Hey, man, we're just making it to be fucking cool to be late.
Let's get this show going, man.
Welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast, a Washington Commanders podcast for fans by fans, with your hosts, Jessy Martin.
The Cowboys are finished, you understand me?
John Taman.
Pull down my trousers and do your job.
Scott Hartley.
Well, that was dreadful.
And occasionally, Keith Gray.
So many social engagements, so little time.
And now, your host.
That's me. That's your host. Excuse me. Right now, we're breaking news as much as we possibly can. We've got an emergency in New Jersey. No one has heard from Keith since the major earthquake that was centered right on Donald Trump's golf course. I don't know if anybody's aware of what's going on up there, or if anybody can give us any details at all as to where the international superstar may be. We would greatly appreciate it. We're very worried here, but welcome to the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. It is Friday afternoon, and despite the tragedies up in New Jersey, we must soldier on. We must continue and talk about a whole bunch of speculative bullshit about the Commanders for the next couple of weeks. So, because my son told me that it was all fucked up in his head because I was in the wrong spot last week on the screen, we've gone and screwed it up again. So, Scott, up here at the top. Oh, there he is over there. How you doing there, bud? How you doing? I would get you right where we're ready to talk.
Every time. Yeah, no, I'm good, mate. Yeah, all good my end. I'm glad another week is over at work. But yeah, it's good.
Another week of work is over. Jessy, up here. How you doing? What'd you do this week?
Fantastic. Busy week. Preparing for
your hat.
What's that?
You steamrolled the brim of your hat.
I did. Flattened it out. What's a nice hat though? It's really white.
It is.
Like pops.
It is.
It pops on screen. It just pops on screen, man.
I can't wear the flat brims, man. I look as stupid as you can possibly imagine with a flat brim hat on.
You gotta. I kind of got to put it to the side because if I wear it straight, I kind of look like a duck-billed platypus.
I mean, I never did get into this kind of shit here. It just is not me. It's never fucking worked. As a matter of fact, while I'm talking to you like this, it's bouncing off the inside of this brim and hitting me in the ear, and it sounds all fucked up.
Well, maybe if you had some hair, it would kind of.
I don't think that's got anything to do with it.
But I like the hat. I got this as a gift.
Yeah, I know.
My man Scott.
Yeah, that was very cool.
I got you that for your birthday, didn't I? So you're. I like it. I like it. It looks good. It looks very good, actually. To be fair, and you're right, it does pop. I like the. I actually really like the Commander's hat as well for the draft. I think they've done a good job of it this year.
Yes, finally they got a good draft hat. It's been a while since they had a good draft hat. They do got one. I love the black one.
Let me see what it looks like. I haven't even looked at it. So I see, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, we are as unprepared as always. This is early April. There ain't jack fuck dick going on right now, except today.
Oh, there is. There's
really
quarterback arguments.
Well, there's quarterback arguments. But look, now today was a big news day in Commanders land because on their social media account, they were putting out the numbers that are going to be worn by a bunch of guys that are probably going to get cut in camp. And they were putting it out like big fucking announcements. Dieter's going to wear number 60. And Dieter, okay.
Hey, Brian, appreciate you joining us. Brian, it's always 33s in the chat.
Yeah, it does look all right. I do like that.
You know, like, I want to talk about this number situation. Okay. Listen, I don't like defensive players wearing single digits. Don't like it. Looks,
don't like it.
Looks ridiculous. Looks freak. Call me an old man. This is my get off your lawn moment or get off my lawn moment. I think it looks stupid. And fucking Marcus Mariota wearing the number 0.
Oh, weird.
Get the fuck out of here with that nonsense, man. That's just zero. Nobody should wear zero.
I will say
we get to see it for 3 games.
Oh, no. John is going to seethe over it for the entire season. Every time Marcus Mariota is on the screen, John's face is going to get red.
Dude, Marcus Mariota literally
more red than it already is.
He looks like he's been a tenured professor for about 10 years now. That dude looks like somebody's fucking uncle, and I don't mean a little kid's uncle. I mean like a grown uncle. Here's the thing about Marcus Mariota 0. You're right. He's at least telling you who he is and what he's about when he gets out there, because that's about as many completions as I expect to get out of him. If you don't have him running the ball What the fuck are you doing? And really, if whoever we have at quarterback, which we'll get into later, ends up getting hurt, and it is Marcus Mariota going the distance, hey man, give me Jeff Driscoll. I don't give a fuck. Who gives
good God, no.
You can't get worse. Get out of here. Don't tell me anything.
No,
like that.
listen. Clamoring for Jeff Driscoll.
I'm not clamoring for him. Trust me.
Over Mariota is the dumbest thing I've heard.
Yeah,
in a long time.
That's
Really?
crazy.
Driscoll.
I know we like
really
a backup quarterback, but wow.
Do you like turds with peanuts or without? Because that's basically what this is.
Look. I would much rather have peanuts in my turds. Wait a second. Got that flipped. Listen, whatever.
You got it exactly the way you expected it.
There's better flavor with peanuts, so give me the peanuts and Marcus Mariota.
Scott, do you believe that? Do you agree with that? Would you put Jesse's penis in Marcus Mariota?
Pollywood, thanks for joining us.
Wow.
Oh my God. We have an update. Hold on. We have a breaking news moment coming out of New Jersey where we've had a 5.5 on the Richter scale earthquake. We're trying desperately to find Keith Gray. 4.6. We're trying desperately to find Keith Gray. We have an update.
Harry Sphincter here at the home of Keith Gray following the devastating. Oh my God! And there you see right here on live television, ladies and gentlemen, Keith Gray's home is falling apart. The palatial estate that the international superstar lives in, based on nothing but the meager scrapings of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast.
Doesn't look good for Keith. No.
Oh, I like that.
Doesn't look good.
All right. All right, so I guess what we can do is this. We make any signings this week?
We made a few. We made a few actually since our last pod, and luckily enough, I have them all written down.
Of course you do, because this is the age of the computer. But Scotty keeps the pen and paper business in they keep them going. All right, so
we got the feather and ink.
We signed Zacchaeus. I can't pronounce his first name. I think it's
Olamide.
Olamide. Thank you.
Olamide.
From the Eagles. Obviously, he's. Don't know much about him. He'll be okay.
Listen, let me touch base on this guy real quick. He's out of University of Virginia. He is 5'8". He's a speedster, and he torched us
with
two different games. So, we needed some depth in the receiver room, anyways. And I don't see this as a bad signing whatsoever. I mean, he played well with when he got time in Philly. So, hell, we need as much speed as we can on that field.
I'm looking at his stats here: 104 receptions, 1,492 yards, 10 TDs.
Look, he's not signed to be any kind of he's not a starting type player, right? I mean, in terms of when you say starting wide receiver, you're usually looking at your wide receiver 1 and 2, your guys that are on the outside.
Yeah, of course,
right? But even though we all know that a third wide receiver is also a starter, and I could see him maybe pushing for that spot. But I think they're going to draft somebody that'll go in that spot. And I mean, he's looking at a wide receiver 5, probably behind.
Yeah. I think he's higher than De'Ami Brown on the depth chart. But I also think that there's others still there. We've still got Kaz Allen. We've still got Crowder as well. He can contribute. So the room isn't as bad as we think it was. I mean, who was the guy who was playing last year, wide receiver as well? Came in from the
Pringle. He was only on a 1-year deal.
Pringle, there you go. Yeah. No, we didn't re-sign him.
Listen,
so you have to fill this roster out. It's got to get to 90 man to start off with. So
in this roster, there's going to be some more free agents coming after this draft. We spoke on this a couple weeks ago. We got that influx of signings because we had to. We didn't have no choice. So now we're going to fill in. We have 9 draft picks. We might pick up some more. Depends on if we do any wheeling or dealing. And then there's a lot of players still out there. There's going to be cuts coming in after the
everybody gets cut on. Well, they get the June 1st, and then at camp,
and there's cuts after the draft too. Because so there's still a lot of work to be done. It's not finished yet. The roster is nowhere near close to being set. it's going to be it's a pretty exciting time because we're going to still sign a lot more players, guys.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. And then I think last year with Pringle, we picked him up late. We picked him up.
We did.
In the draft. So
Hollywood writes here that Jamison Crowder's been returning kickoffs since the Obama administration, and that might actually. I'm not
pretty much true.
He's our wide receiver. He's our wide receiver 3 right now.
You saw last year he had what I call a Democrat punt return. He ran right at the biggest crowd he could find, did really good, and then gave it all away right at the end. He just said, "Here, everybody take one."
We signed some other players this week. So we signed running back Jeremy McNichols from the Titans. No, actually, he was at the 40. He's at the 49ers, but his best season was obviously backing up Derrick Henry at the Titans. He's been around 30. He's 30 years old. 2016 6th round draft pick. He's played for the 49ers. Yeah, 49ers, Bengals, Lions, Broncos, Texans, Arizona, Browns. Yeah, he's been everywhere pretty much.
He's that small kind of scat back type of player too.
So, I always hear something disgusting when people say scat back, and then I have to kick myself.
And then we also signed Jeff Driscoll, as we mentioned just before, who has played for about 15 teams.
15 teams.
Honestly, he has been everywhere, this guy.
And then
the final signing we got was a defensive lineman, and I'm going to try and pronounce his name. It's Haggai Chisholm Nimbue, is how it's pronounced. He's a native.
What was that first name?
It's Haggai Chisholm Nimbue. Is how I think it is pronounced. Nigerian native, obviously international player pathway guy. And for those who don't know, the NFL's encouraged to sign international players. They each have an exemption on the 90-man roster, and they each have an exemption on the practice squad. So they don't count towards the roster. They don't count towards the 53. They don't count towards the 16 practice squad players either. Every team this year has a chance to sign an international player.
That's cool. Now, I'll tell you what, I do like that program, and we all got excited about Samus Reyes, even though that really didn't pan out.
Yeah,
I hear he's making calendars now, which he's probably doing pretty good doing that. Hey, look, I'll tell you what. Now, I don't know. Was F.A. Obata one of these guys that came through that?
Yeah, he was the first. He was the first guy to make a roster. Make a 53-man roster.
And I mean, he's made a difference on some plays. I mean, that guy.
Yeah, the only other famous real big time guy who's made it, the first one to actually get drafted, who was draft eligible, was Jordan Mailata for the Eagles. He came out of I mean, a lot of them are rugby players. I mean, the big one that's made waves over this side of the pond over the last 2 weeks has been Lewis Rees-Summit, who's wide receiver stroke running back. It says. Who signed for the Chiefs on a 3-year deal with a little bit of guaranteed money. So I don't think he's actually going to get on the 53 at all. I still think he'll be on the practice squad. But he's lightning on a rugby field. And when you watch him play in rugby boots, he is ridiculously quick. But his 40 was quite disappointing. Ran a 4.46. He was expecting to run like the 4.2s, 4.3s is what you expected.
How fucking was that a 4.46?
I know. But when you look at the actual people who ran a 4.46, you're looking at like Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah, right. To me, a 4.46 is from here to my front door. Fuck that. I'm not going much faster.
Unbelievable. And then he, in rugby terms, he was at the highest level you could play at rugby. So he's a British and Irish Lion, which is when they get together, the Ireland team, the Wales team, the Scotland team, and the England team, and they all come together, the best players, and they play on a tour of South Africa, New Zealand, or Australia.
Now, are they actual Wales that play?
And it's Wales the country. Wales the country. But and he was a Welsh international rugby player, so he's given all that up. He's given his Wales money up. He's given playing up for Gloucester, and he's tried to make a stint in the NFL. So fair play to him. He's given up about £500,000 salary, so probably about $600,000, and he's trying his luck in the NFL. So good luck to him. I hope he does well, but I don't think he'll make the 53. So
two things I want to bring up real quick. Because for one, rugby interests me, but I don't know what the fuck is going on. So one of these days when there's a rugby match on television, I'm gonna bring you up.
Give me a ring
and see if you've got the same game and you can explain this shit to me. All right. And F.A. Obata, I brought up for another reason because you you copped an awesome interview with him this week.
Thank you.
For the,
kudos to you. If anybody that's listening right now has not listened to the 1 Point Safety Show from Wednesday or for Thursday, you need to go back and listen to it. And I got to give my hats off to Scotty. He managed to keep his hands to himself.
He did.
Okay. And you know, I was proud of my man. You know, he really kept his pants on, kept his hands, you know, from or at least it didn't show.
Well,
I mean,
Jessy's Castle wins was the over in the LA and San Francisco. It was 40.5 and turned out to be 41.
Sorry, there you go. That's Scott. You just can't help it.
Yeah. So
I know.
Hats off to Scotty and Scouts for getting that scoop. That was a really good interview, man. I really I like FA Abada. I like him as a person. I guess I'm proud of the guy because he's come from where he's come from. It's really cool to see somebody that didn't really grow up with the game and then obviously an excellent athlete go through that program and have success in the NFL. And it was really nice to hear that his injury, as devastating as it wasn't worse than it could have been. It was a clean break. And hopefully he'll be back on the field come week 1.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, there's not been too many of these guys that have come through the international portal that have actually made a ripple in the NFL. And not only is he stuck on our roster, but honestly, I had to ask you, he did come from that, right? Because you'd think that would be something that they play up because they don't really do much else. But dude, he plays. He's a freaking player, and he gets in there and makes a difference when he gets in there. And I'm glad that he's still with us. So anyway,
it was a good interview. So yeah, Brian, if you missed it, go and have a look on YouTube. It's 1 Point Safety Show, and you'll see the interview there. It's they're doing well. But yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. 25 minutes, so it's not that long. So go and give it a quick watch, and we'll need to get some people on this show too.
Yeah, it was kind of a friendly chat. You know, it was just
that's what he wanted. And I mean, I've had some comments and feedback back, some people and others saying, "Oh, I wish it was live," and all this. The problem you've got when it's live and it's not pre-recorded is you get people in chats on YouTube, and it's not an offense to anybody, but if they don't like that player or that player fumbled a couple of weeks before, he's going to cop shit, and it's just like you don't need that. You really don't need that.
Yeah, doing interviews like that cannot be live.
It was a complete last minute thing as well. I mean, honestly, I've been chasing his agent for about a year to try and get him on the show. And then finally, he just messaged me out of the blue and said,
I'm that restraining order.
They sent that to the office of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. We had to have our lawyers look at it.
Mm-hmm.
So, clearly we're not taking any part of that kind of stuff there. That's strictly on the 1 Point Safety Show. But luckily, you broke through his wave of security and was able to get this great interview. And to me, it's different because here's what I always say. All right, I hate the athlete interview. I really do. I fucking hate the athlete interview because they never say a goddamn thing. They always say the same thing. All right. They always
they're trained to do that.
They're right. And they're smart to do that. You don't want to tell somebody anything. You don't want to say anything that's going to cause any waves because this is the era in which people like me take that shit and run with it. Right. Mm-hmm. So for me, the athlete interview is always so predictable. And these people that sit there and they quote these things. You should have heard what he said about his teammates. Well, what did he say? Oh, he says he gets along with his teammates, thinks they're a great bunch of guys. Oh, no shit.
Right. Yeah, no, and that's kind of the difference between with this interview. It was more of kind of laid back and kind of amongst friends.
Nice touch.
It was just like three lads just kind of shooting the shit.
Yeah. Well, see, that's what I think makes this different.
You got a few good nuggets out of it as well, which was quite interesting. He was saying he hates joint practice. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I was surprised about that too. I was very surprised about that because you'd figure you're tired of facing the same people every day. You want to face somebody new. So that was one thing that kind of shocked me.
It doesn't like Mark Andrews either, boys.
Yeah. Well, we don't want to give too much away. Everybody go listen on the 1 Point Safety Show. And
thank you. I appreciate the show.
That's enough kudos for your podcast. Everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on.
I'm just kidding.
No,
you know
you're
what
right.
I find interesting about their podcast? I swear to God, whenever Scouse is on our show, he turns on his blur behind him, and then his head blurs in and out all over the place. He goes invisible and he comes in and out all over the place. But when he's on your show, that blur works just fine. I don't know what it is, but it's funny to me. Whenever Scouse is on here, it's like Scouse is here. No, he's not. No, there he is. Scouse is not here. There he is. All right. So, all right, where are we going from here? I guess we could talk about the quarterbacks since everybody.
Yeah, let's do it.
Nobody's talking about this. This is one of these things that's flying under the radar.
Nobody's talking about it.
Dude, I'm sorry. I'm practicing for Fox News. Nobody's been ever bringing up any of this about the quarterbacks. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and throw our uninformed hats into the ring and see what we think about what's going on. I did put a tweet out this past week, and I'm sure everybody saw it because it did make the front page of the New York Times, that I've gone ahead and kind of favored Jayden Daniels. Jayden Daniels. Now, as uninformed as we all three are as fans, because what are we?
We're
stupid. Stupid. Fans are stupid.
Stupid.
I'm stupid. I'm more stupid. I almost said stupider. That's how stupid I am. Than both of these guys when it comes to this kind of stuff, because it's just not my time of year. So, am I right or am I wrong for thinking that I think Jayden Daniels is my guy at this juncture here on April the 5th? And we'll start with the angel on my shoulder. Scotty, tell me the good stuff about Jayden Daniels.
Well, yeah, Jayden Daniels has got 5 years of starting. He's a Heisman Trophy winner, which is obviously, setting it off. Setting the bar. Setting the bar quite high. In
the NFL, though.
I know. I get that. He's got a 37-18 record overall as a starter. He's got, his yards, over 12,000 yards. He's a touchdown machine. 89 touchdowns. His running ability is there as well. He ran for 34 touchdowns during his college career. He's fast. He's got a good deep ball for an arm. What else? Positives for Jayden Daniels. He's almost like a mini Lamar Jackson stroke RG3 in some respects. Now, if he can stay healthy, the sky's the limit for him. I think I don't think you can go wrong with picking Jayden Daniels at 2. And I think, honestly, I'm 60-40 towards Jayden Daniels now myself. But I think, I think he's got a good career and a good future in the NFL, irrespective of what he does. Throws a pretty deep ball as well. And he's good at adapting to coverages and looking at the coverage that's out there and changing up as well.
All right, Jesse, tell me why I should not like Jayden Daniels.
Yeah, well, like all prospects coming out, everybody has red flags, and the most biggest and brightest flag is his size. I heard somebody the other day, or saw somebody the other day on Twitter, I'm not going to name no names, says, yeah, his size doesn't bother me. It absolutely should bother you.
That was me. I said that.
I know that. Scotty just mentioned that he spent 5 years in college football. What took him so long to progress? Because he did not progress until he started getting massive amounts of weapons.
True that.
There is an issue with him thrown in the middle of the field. There's issues with him about reading the defense. He's a 1-2 run type of read quarterback. In NFL, you cannot be that whatsoever.
I have heard differently. I have heard differently.
What you've heard is wrong.
In fact, that he's not.
Well, these are I'm basing facts, man. I'm not doing speculation. These are facts.
John Keim, he's calling you out. He's telling you you're making shit up.
Listen, these are the red flags. Doesn't mean I don't like the guy, but you asked me why shouldn't we draft him and give me the red flags.
Okay.
The frame of him, is he's so tiny. He's so reckless when he is running the football too. It does kind of remind you of RG. He's not the same type of runner as RG3. He is reckless like RG. He doesn't protect himself. Yeah. Can he learn that? Well, he's been in played 5 years in college. He's played a lot of ball.
Has he been hurt?
Still hasn't learned yet. NFL is bigger, stronger, faster. Period. Okay. The hits that he's taken in college are going to be tenfold in the NFL. I mean, say you could have asked the same thing about RG3 in college. He took a lot of hits as well. But on the flip side of that, he's got a big arm. He's a smart kid. I love his release. He's got the best release I've seen probably in the past 5 years. Quick, compact. But then, as far as his touchdowns and his deep, he's got a beautiful deep ball. But again, same thing with the Mac Jones situation. I called it out on this podcast. Mac Jones looked a hell of a lot better than he actually was because of the players around him.
Yep.
And that came to fruition. And in that aspect of it, Jaden Daniels reminds me of a lot. They're two total different quarterbacks. I'm just saying about the talent around him.
I would also put forth that Mac Jones is an asshole.
Sure, absolutely. He is
playing asshole.
Jaden Daniels is not an asshole. Great kid.
I've heard his mother's an asshole, thanks to Tom Lavero. Hey,
what was he? What was he? Just almost. He was almost 6'4", and he was 210 with water weight.
Yeah. And that's another flag that I want to bring up. He refused to do any measurables at the combine. Why, you ask?
Oh, I don't ask why, because I know why.
Pro Day comes along and you have all your Jaden fans coming. Yeah, see, he measured in at 210. He's going to be okay. Well, the thing about it, guys, is you can gain weight easily. It's pretty damn easy to gain weight. There was a shot of him when he was wiping sweat away from his face. He pulled his shirt up and you saw the bulging belly full of water. Okay. Right. You can take salt pills to retain water, days and days of water. You can only pee like 1 or 2 times a day because it stays in to your system. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you his playing weight is more around the 200-pound range, that is closer to the 200-pound range than it is to the 210-pound range. Now, a lot of people have come out and said, well, he can put on weight in the NFL. I got to question that because he is pretty much, because he spent how old is he, Scotty? 23, 24 years old?
Yeah, he's 23. He'll be 24
years old
when he starts the season.
He's not going to grow too much more.
No, but you can definitely get in and put weight on with muscle mass. You can,
but also at the same time,
but that muscle mass will affect the way you, the way you throw, how fast you are. You put on too much and you lose your athletic ability.
That's what happened to me. I'll tell you what, I was projected to be a number. Of course, I was projected to go high.
You're projected to be the number one asshole.
The other thing as well with I can agree with you there, Jesse, is if he puts weight on, or when we're talking about the weight, you've got to go through a grueling training camp. You've got to learn it. You're in the sun all day. Inevitably, you're going to lose weight. Yep. You're going to lose weight because you're training every single day, and it takes even longer to put that on. So, it's a tough one with me for Jaden Daniels. As I said, I'm 60-40 in his favor. I do think he has the potential to be that franchise starting quarterback. And if you're going to look at all these prospects that we're going to talk through now, he's the one who I think can start now and be ready to go straight away. Paulie is absolutely right with what he's saying. He does have a couple of first-round receivers out there. Malik Neighbors, he's going to go probably in the top 10, absolutely. And
they're
also
both going to go in the top 20.
Well, they are. I mean, he said there as well. One other thing he said is
chicken and the egg. All right.
He said some years.
That's when you got. That's when you have to rewind and look at his stuff in Arizona. And I'm sorry, his stuff in Arizona is not good.
Well, okay, but he also had Herm Edwards out there playing the touchy-feely, coachy stuff. Come on now, get out there and throw that ball around here. Let's go.
Paulie also said in the chat, he said, some years, all of the first-round QBs are straight trash. This year gives me those vibes. I don't agree with you at all, mate. I honestly don't agree with you. I think that there's 5 quarterbacks in here who have a future in this league without a shadow of a doubt. And I'm not talking a clipboard holder. I think they're going to be bona fide starters, at least 4 of them anyway. Penix, McCarthy, and the top 3 as well.
I think these 5 quarterbacks are far and away better from top to bottom than we had a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
As far as talent-wise goes. Listen, before this process started, I did not like Jaden Daniels whatsoever. I was told 100% out on him. He was a possibly a second to third round quarterback halfway through this season. Once he started going in the Heisman run, that's when he started jumping up boards. he didn't really come on until his last year. Yeah, he had a decent year last year. Yes, he had a good year last year, but he also had a lot of better players around him, and he has progressed. But the question I have, what took him so long to do that? Is that the talent around him, or is that him himself? How much more does he have to grow? How much more does he have in him? But since the whole process, since I watched him, listened, I learned, he is up. I'm about 50-50 with him and Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the fact that he went, or why do you say it takes him so long or anything like that? I really don't care whether it took him long. I mean, I really don't. He's not like he's coming into the league at 30 years old or anything like that. But when you say the Heisman and why did it take so long? When you show me the success as a result of growing, that's his latest year. That I don't mind.
But that's the thing. There wasn't much growth until he got all-star players around him. That's the concern that has to be taken into account.
I think
same thing with Mac Jones.
All-star players, it's chicken and the egg. Like I was just trying to say a minute ago, it's chicken and the egg. Which one makes which? All right, go back to the days of my youth when you got Joe Montana, Jerry Rice. Okay, so people argue against Jerry Rice being the greatest of all time. Well, they had Joe Montana. Well, yeah, okay, but Joe Montana had Jerry Rice. So I think it says something. I'm not going to knock a guy for being able to use good weapons. I'm hoping that we are able to give him good weapons if he's our pick and be able to let him do that. I do like his arm. I do think that this year he had good coaching. He got
good
much
question,
better.
Brian. Very good question. Has he plateaued? That's another thing too. Also, to your point, John,
Mm-hmm.
Look at the same red flags he had at Arizona are the same red flags he has now. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You really got to you have to scout all the years he's played. Same thing with all these quarterbacks. You can't just scout his last year. You can't do that. Scouts aren't going to do that.
Okay.
You have to take everything into consideration and follow the growth. Why did he grow? Was it better coaching? Did he start seeing the field better? Did his mechanics get better? Everything has to come together when it's come to that. And as far as his playing style goes, you don't see much of a different playing style from Arizona to LSU.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You haven't seen a difference in the playing style? He was all over the place at Arizona like that. We didn't able to be as accurate as he was on deep balls like that.
He's always had a good deep ball.
Mm-hmm. All right. So the grade that I'm looking for, because I got one thing that I'm going to tell you. If I'm looking right now, again, as a stupid fan.
Oh, anticipation. He's not good at anticipation. All right. That's the last thing I'll say.
Apparently I'm not either, because I didn't see that one coming. Hang on a minute. I've thrown off my stuff. Scott, give me one more pro or con about Jaden Daniels. What about his mother? What was Tom Lavero trying to say?
Oh, let's not get into that.
No, why not?
I think it's a load of shit, really. I mean, he's talking, saying, "Oh, his mum's been a bit of a problem." Nah, I don't know. I don't think that's an issue at all. I think this is just the way athletes are these days. The young kids, they're different.
I think she had unfettered access at Arizona, and Brian Kelly did not let that shit happen at LSU, and it was a problem. It's not a problem no more, I don't think.
Well, I think one of the things that is a definite knock on Jaden Daniels is the fact that this guy likes him, and it's Chris Sims. He just is the word. This dude knows absolutely nothing. And as long as this guy says, I didn't have time to put a suit on him, but really, God, he's like, well, that's not proper. There might be children watching. This is not the PG show. All right, so okay, then let's move on. Jaden Daniels, where are we sitting in terms of that? Are we at a?
I'm at 60-40. I'm at 60. Yeah, of course. I mean, this is the thing, John. What
I'll be fine. I'm 100% fine if we draft him.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm trusting Peters and Quinn on this
correct.
one right now.
Correct.
Even if they agree with Chris Sims.
Yeah, Chris Sims is a walking dildo. So I don't, the shit that he said he's having Drake May at tier 4. That's just some stupid shit right there.
That is crazy.
You know, I tell you what, they on CBS they stick him.
John just likes looking at dildos. That's all.
Yeah, they stick him to the floor with this, so he stays in his spot for being on camera. All right, so okay, let's move on to Drake May. Jesse, you tell me the pros, and Scotty, you tell me the cons. We're gonna move around this way.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Drake May, prototypical size.
So size matters.
Absolutely.
Phil Sims, or
you can't teach. Who said that in the chat? Deluxe. You can't teach size. I mean, he is big. He is strong. He can move within the pocket. He can move out of the pocket. He is athletic. And he has a cannon for an arm, and he also has really good mechanics. The problem is when his feet and his body don't line up. I'll let Scott deal with that. He's had 2 years
give me the positive
playing, right. and yeah, his first year was a little bit better than his second year, but he lost a lot of weapons his second year. And geez, he's got his cannon, man. He reminds you a lot. You go back and watch Wyoming when Josh Allen played. You see a lot of similarities.
The one thing about Josh Allen playing at Wyoming, and I know what he's done in the NFL, but really he's out there on a field that is cut out of the middle of a fucking ranch, and he's throwing against kids that are going to go off and be cowboys for their career.
Well, Drake May was thrown to absolutely nobody's pretty much,
Correct.
Still
ACC defenses, which are a bit of a step up.
Yeah, but listen, you can't scout the helmets or the people that they've played. Has he had poor games? Sure. Jaden Daniels had poor games. That happens. But he has everything that you want in a quarterback. People think that he's just a pocket passer. No, he's not, man. He had 800 and some rushing yards last year, 269 completions out of 400 attempts. He threw for 3,600 yards, 4,300 yards his freshman year. I mean, he's got everything that you want in a quarterback. Live arm, big, strong, and can move. What's not to like about Drake May?
Well, I don't know.
I'll try and tell you. He likes to play hero ball a lot, which is not ideal at all.
He had to play hero ball.
I understand why. And that's what you're saying. You can't scout the helmet. You have to scout the guy. I completely get that. But at the same time, he lost his last 4 games. Not great. You know what I mean? He's
not even good.
It's a team game. Not a quarterback game.
Understand. But the quarterback is the guy. You need this team on your back. It's on your back. You are the man in the middle. You are the beating heart of this team. His mechanics need work. His footwork needs work. He has a few issues with throwing to the middle of the field, as well as similar to Jaden Daniels.
Or maybe does have the flat.
Yeah, does have a good deep ball. I agree with you there. Just hero ball. Too many times you see it on tape as well. And
so he's reckless.
He'll
make mistakes with the ball.
How
many interceptions has he thrown over his career?
Over his career, I'll tell you now.
16.
Yeah, but 9 last year. Highest in 9 last year against 24 TDs.
Yeah, that's
actually not bad.
Well, against 24 TDs, it's not bad, but this is college, and this dude's expecting to be a top 3 pick in the NFL.
Correct.
9 interceptions over how many games? 11 games?
I don't want to try and be rude against Drake May. I rate him very highly. He's 21 years old. He's got a lot of growth to go. Mm-hmm. You can't teach size, as people were saying in the chat, Deluxe and Scouse as well. I mean, looking at it, yeah, he's got the highest ceiling for sure. If you can be coached correctly, absolutely far. But at the same time, he's got the lowest floor, and he reminds me of Sam Howell.
These are terms that we get thrown around at this time of year about.
He's a better Sam Howell, but he reminds me of what Sam Howell came out in college. When you look at the tape,
just because people say that because they went to the same school. Come on,
no, I watched tape on him.
Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. Sit the
the fuck down and shut up.
Shut up and sit down.
Will you shut up?
Just sit your ass down here and shut up.
Really good over
now.
there.
Listen here, I'll tell you something, man. This is the kind of stuff where everybody gets fucking stupid over this shit, where they start saying things like, "Oh, he's got the highest ceiling." What the hell does that even mean? There's no quantitative thing that you can even put on what that means. It's you think that based on what you see out of him now, that he can go further. All right, which you said for a minute ago, Jesse, it's a team game. So, a lot of it involves that. Nobody would have put a high ceiling on Tom Brady to be the greatest quarterback of all time. These low floors and high floors and high things. I think this is why I get so freaking fed up at this time of year, because it is so much smoke being blown up so many asses. And now, while I like a good smoke up the ass job every once in a while, I don't like one every day. And there's so much hype, right? And these guys will sit there and they'll look you right in the face and they'll say things like, "Look, if you don't take Drake May this year, what you're going to end up doing is you're going to have somebody like Mitchell Trubisky next year. Look, you got Marcus Mariota there, right? Marcus Mariota was the second pick in the draft because of the same fucking bullshit. All right, the same bullshit."
I want to add something else too.
Did anybody ever say, Marcus Mariota's floor is that he's going to quit his fucking team after he gets benched for a goddamn?
And we saw it on Netflix. No. We saw it.
Look, I'm gonna say this, and this is probably gonna rub people the wrong way, but I don't give a fuck.
All right, well,
running quarterbacks have never made it to the Super Bowl. Okay, I can see Drake May making it to the Super Bowl. Not in the first couple of years, obviously. But on Scotty's side of the argument, Drake May's going to need time. He does have some mechanical issues that he needs to fix.
He's got a weird kind of delivery. It's not quite sidearm, but it's not over the top.
Well, he's one of those that can make it from all. He can throw from all angles.
Right.
But I'm telling you, I'm not sure over the middle. He's great over the middle. I'm not sure what Scotty's talking about, man.
Tell me,
he makes some throws.
Sorry.
The flat is where some issues come in. But he makes some throws or just like, oh my God, man, he just drops in the bucket. But he'll have some throws like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But what you do is you look at his feet. His feet aren't lined up. And that's some of the issues that he has to fix.
You know what? I got all kinds of.
For me, again, would I be taking Jesse's point from earlier and the way he talked about Jaden Daniels? Would I be disappointed if we drafted him? Absolutely not. This is the problem we have at the moment on social media. I think everyone is totally quarterback done. They think, you know what, I've been sick of this already. And you can't be in one camp and like the other guy out of the other camp. It's got to be one or the other.
North Carolina quarterbacks. All right, we with Daniel Jones, right?
Look, man,
Daniel Jones, Sam Howell.
Daniel Jones went to Duke. Okay, same thing was said about Ohio State quarterbacks, and look at C.J. Stroud. Same thing was said about Michigan quarterbacks, and look at fucking Tom Brady. It doesn't matter.
Joe Burrow was at Ohio State, wasn't he?
For a year, and then he transferred over to LSU. Yeah. You do not scout the school; you scout the quarterback. Period. The helmet they wear doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying. For me, so far, I hear more negatives about Drake May than I hear positives. And the biggest positive that people keep coming up with me are this nonsense about he's got a high ceiling. And I don't know what the fuck that actually means. And
he has the tools in his toolbox to be very, very good.
So do all of them. If you give him the right team and the right coaching, I think. And I think that what people will do is that I've said that, they'll come at me and they'll give me all these fucking reasons about what they think the high ceiling is, and understand that I'm just going to sit there and go, because it's nothing.
Put it to you this way: people like to compare Jaden Daniels to Randall Cunningham. Okay, what has Randall Cunningham won? What did he win? What did Randall Cunningham win?
I tell you what, he didn't win
shit.
He got hurt, and then that was kind of the end of him until he got back.
And as much as I love Lamar Jackson in the playoffs, everybody shut his ass down
so far. But I don't see, when you say running quarterbacks have never made the Super Bowl, and that's a bunch of bullshit, because, and I'm old, so I remember this, because I'll tell you, Roger the Dodger was what stopped.
Fucking get out of here!
Get out of here! These are guys who could run. Joe Montana could run. John Elway was a runner.
They're not running quarterbacks. They're not running those. Those are scrambling quarterbacks.
I mean, you know what?
Come on, there's a big difference
like that, but there was a big difference back in the old days. Hey, look, I'm old and fuck off. I'm cold. You heard.
Roger the fucking Dodger. Get the hell out of here.
What a
Ooh, are
party.
we allowed to play that now? Are we? Okay.
Oh yeah, we can play that now. All right. So anyway, I would like to be able to tell the people that have joined us late today that we have yet to hear from Keith Gray. It is a very tense situation that we have here, as New Jersey has experienced a tremendous earthquake today, as everybody knows, and there's been casualties of at least, I think, a raccoon fell out of a tree. But we have got this video that we found on the internet today.
Harry Sphincter here at the home of Keith Gray following the devastation. Oh my God! And there you see right here on live television, ladies and gentlemen, Keith Gray's home is falling apart. The palatial estate that the international superstar lives in, based on nothing but the meager scrapings of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast.
Tell you what, I don't get.
He's got a nice house.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
Tell you, man, I tell you, our sponsors need to talk to us, man. Keith doesn't show up today. He's got an excuse. I think he might have been upstairs in the bathroom when that thing fell down.
He was cleaning out his chimney when.
By the way, all right, real quick, while we're in the middle of the show here, we're actually at 45 minutes, which is like the middle of our shows anymore. Hey, and I don't feel guilty about it. I'm watching Deuce yesterday. Dude goes 2.5 hours. Holy shit, man! I'd have to piss, wouldn't you? Anyway.
Yeah. Yes.
Hats off to you, buddy.
He has a cup underneath his desk.
No, we're not going to say that on this podcast whatsoever. Let somebody else speculate on something like that. Our 200th episode is coming up. Jesse, what did you say? May the 10th?
Somewhere around there. Yeah.
Somewhere around May the 10th.
Give or take.
Okay, so we're going to try to get some interesting guests here on the show. If you have anybody you think that we should try to get, you should go ahead and let us know. And if you think that
I think we should get Jumpy Gathers.
Jumpy Gathers. Oh my God! If we could get Jumpy Gathers and Keith on here at the same
He's still
time.
alive.
Oh, I know. You don't kill a guy named Jumpy. Hell no. Look, I'm telling you what. If you think you've got what it takes to be on this show, you can see we always leave a space for our fourth member whose house just fell apart. But let us know why. Tell us what you want to see on our 200th episode come May 10th, thereabouts. I know I'm going to do a video montage of a bunch of stuff, including Keith taking us into various toilets around the house and out in public while he's on the podcast. So, all right. So let's see. Let's move on. Okay. So we talked about Drake May. We talked about Jaden Daniels. Let's talk about. Yes. Let's talk about JJ McCarthy, who is
winner, chicken dinner.
All right. So let's shift him around again. You know what? I'm going to make, because this is Jesse's boy. Jesse likes this guy. I'm going to make you do the negatives. Scotty, give me the positives on JJ McCarthy, Michigan quarterback, champion.
He's a champion.
He's positive.
He's solid. Or do you know what? I really don't know. He's got a good spiral. He's got a good pass.
Yeah, you go. He's got some good spiral.
His mechanics are pretty decent.
How's the girlfriend look? She all right?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Oh, this is one I've not really concentrated on because I don't think he's going to be the pick at 2. But
all right, okay. Then all right, Jesse, I'll leave it to you. Well, Boost got back over here to the negatives. He can just poo-poo all over whatever you say. Tell me all about JJ McCarthy, because I do know that you keep a poster of him in your truck.
Sure. I'm so glad you asked, John. Okay. Look, JJ McCarthy is a winner. I mean, he's a straight up winner. You cannot take that away from him.
Can't knock him for it.
He is solid at every single thing that he does. There's not really, you can't really say anything negative about him. Scouse, kind of makes up shit about him that, he doesn't fucking, come from behind, which actually is not true. He's had multiple games where he's had to come back from behind. He puts his team in position to win. He does everything that's asked from him. He can make every single throw. He can run too. He can scramble. He's got a good ball. And he's just solid all around. He does not have any weaknesses whatsoever. Period.
No weaknesses at all.
And it's funny. A lot of the negatives say, "Oh, well, he doesn't throw that much." Bullshit. He doesn't throw that much. He's had just as many games as Drake May. Okay, his career attempts are 713. Okay, you know how many career attempts Caleb Williams has had? 1,000 career attempts. Drake May, 952. What are you going to learn about with 200 more attempts that you have not learned already in the first 700 attempts.
It's a lot more attempts.
Fucking nothing.
Well, see, I don't necessarily agree with that because that is a lot more attempts. That's a good third more. But the fact of the matter is,
in the context of the situation, no, it's really not 200. You've already thrown 713. Seriously,
yeah.
He doesn't have to throw because he's already put the team in position to win. So what's the point?
That's true. That's true. And I do not hold against him that he's got a good running game. And I do not hold against him that he's got a good offensive line. And I do not hold against him that he's got good coaching that is able to take advantage of those things. He's a winner, which you cannot hold against him.
His offensive line is good, but it isn't very good. A pass blocking offensive line. He did have to move out of the pocket quite a bit this year. Listen, his first quarter passing attempts this year, 183. His second quarter, 224. Third, 156. And fourth, only 91. He only had to throw the ball 91 times in the fourth quarter. Why? Because they're already he's already done enough to win the game.
Oh my God.
22 TDs, 4 interceptions last year, and he got 3 rushing touchdowns and 200 yards of rushing as well throughout the season.
How many attempts?
Attempts at throwing or rushing? Pass attempts last year, it was 332, 2,991 yards.
It's about the same amount as an NFL quarterback does. You know why? Because he runs an NFL offense.
That's a low-end NFL quarterback for that kind of
Not really.
But really, it's also not 17 games, which is a big difference in terms of how many throws you're going to make. So I don't see that as a negative.
He has a 28-1 career record. He's lost 1 game.
Who beat him? Ohio State?
Georgia.
Georgia beat him. Okay, that was the year they won.
Yeah.
And Holy Water, once again, is bucking for a fan of the show.
4 times he's had to come back. In 2022, he trailed 17-14 to Rutgers, came back and won 52-17. Illinois in 2022 trailed 17-10, entering the fourth quarter, won 19-17. Ohio State 2022. They were the number 6 team in the in the NCAA. They were down 2017. They won the game 45-23. The semifinal against TCU trailed 21-6. Entering halftime. This is the one game that they lost. They lost 51-45.
Right.
After a huge comeback and 4 second half touchdowns. Okay.
Right.
Please don't tell me he can't come back and win games because
you're right there, but
there's 3 words that I heard.
You're not saying what the actual touchdowns were. Was it Bucky Irvin? Was it Blake Corum who were putting him on his back and going, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna run the ball." We don't know how they scored
this one.
Because when I watched Michigan, Michigan last year, he was literally handing the ball off and they were breaking 50-yard runs every time I watched them.
Look, I heard 3 words in there that tells me I don't want him. Trailing to Rutgers. That's it. Trailing to Rutgers. Don't tell me that you had to come back against Rutgers.
He was the best passer in the entire NCAA last year on third downs.
Okay.
The best passer on third and long, which is 3rd and 8 or longer.
Number 2?
Not for me.
That?
Is he worth the 2nd pick in the draft?
Oh, I absolutely think so.
Is he worth the 3rd?
Yes.
Scotty, is he worth the 3rd?
Yes, probably.
All right. So what I'm going to ask about that is that today there was some.
Is he a top 3 quarterback or top 4 quarterback out of these people we're talking about? Yes, I agree. Yes, he is.
Okay.
Yes, he is.
Adam Peters deems that
if he thinks he's the best, that's fine. Yeah. Totally fine. I don't think you can miss on any of these top 5 quarterbacks.
Oh, I do. I think 2 of them are going to come out.
Penix, maybe.
All right,
because he's got an injury. He's got an injury history. But McCarthy, Drake May, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, all got a very good career.
So there was some speculation today about the Raiders trying to jump up. All right, and go. They were talking heavy about Jaden Daniels. They were trying to jump
anything
up.
to do with that.
Look, I'll tell you what. If the Raiders jump to 3, if the Patriots trade back, all right, and the Raiders jump to 3, hell yeah, I'll trade back to 3. Let them go ahead and take whichever one they want. I would do that.
I'm being 100% serious in this. The one quarterback that has the best chance of falling is Drake May. Reason
Probably.
being is he might not be 100% ready to play right away.
Look, he's a thug and a gangster. I saw him rapping.
JJ will probably be the third quarterback taken off the board.
All right, so then let's get to number 4 here, who I think rose up the boards very quickly this week, and that would be Michael Penix. He had injuries early on. Okay, he had some serious injuries early on, but he's had a long career. He's had a good career. He's overcome those injuries. He's got a hell of a good arm. He just ran a great 40 time, which everybody got all thrilled about. And I'll tell you what, I kind of like him. And if we ended up drafting him, if we ended up in a trade down situation that netted us enough to pull a left tackle and we ended up with him, I'd be all right with that. So, okay, who wants to go with pro and who wants to go with con on
I don't want to go to any pros because I don't have any pros for.
All right, then
I do. I've got a few pros. I think he's got the best throw of the entire quarterback class by miles. He is the best passer in this entire quarterback class.
Okay.
Honestly, watch it. Just watch it. I'm not saying just the deep ball. His passing accuracy is fantastic. If he had not had the injuries, he would probably be maybe second quarterback taken, possibly even challenging Caleb Williams. Genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe that.
Okay. So when were those injuries again? For people like me that don't know?
He's had a double ACL on the same knee, which is really not good. Couple of years back, I think he had all last year completely healthy, and he's obviously just run a 4.46. When you've got blown out knees running at a 4.46, you're going to do very well.
Well,
senior year, Penix led the Huskies to an undefeated 13-0 season. 2024, what else is he saying? Championship game he lost. Penix finished second in the Heisman Trophy voting. This is not a poor quarterback at all. But yeah,
all right. If Caleb Williams is the presumptive number 1. All right, and we've talked about 4 other quarterbacks. Where do you land him?
Where do I put him in? I think he goes to the Giants.
Top 5. Not to who he goes to. I think the top 5.
Sick.
Oh, he ain't Giants. He's not a top 10 quarterback. Come on, Scotty.
Top 10 quarterback or top 10?
He is not that or top 10 pick.
A top 10 draft pick. No, because I think there will be a run on. I think there will be a run on QBs. I think top 4.
Four picked in the top 4
will be picked. Then I think he's mid. I think he'll still go in the first round. I think he'll go midway.
If I hear any interest out of the Giants for any of these quarterbacks, they instantly take a knock on my board because they are idiots.
They have huge interest in JJ and also Drake May.
Oh well, I would think so because freaking Daniel Jones is getting bored of. I need somebody from down in the south, please.
Penix, however you want to pronounce it. He had a
private. How Chris Sims say it?
No, that's penis. He had a private workout with the Giants this week. So the Raiders are also very interested in him. And I think, where are they, 11th, John, or are they 13th?
I think so. Yeah, they're somewhere down there. I don't know. I don't pay attention to that.
I think they can stand pat and 9th, are they? I think they can take him there. No problem at all.
So the Vikings are
what it does happen though is if we have this run on quarterbacks, because still think I think Bo Nix will end up being a first round quarterback.
I got
at the very, very
higher
end.
than Penix.
You think he'll go higher than Penix?
I have him higher. I'd take Bo Nix over Penix.
Is that just because of the injury concerns?
That has a lot to do with it, but Penix also has the absolute best offensive line in NCAA. And I just don't think he's as good as throwers a lot of people think he is. He's got 2 awesome receivers that also were 5 yards. It was a 5-yard separation. All he had to do was just throw the ball up, and would just lay out and pick it up. I think his 40 times a crock of shit. That was probably the fastest he's ever run in his entire life. He is nothing but a statue in the pocket, and he will not be he will not have any type of mobility as an NFL quarterback. And
it reminds me of a Geno Smith type quarterback.
Geno Smith or Jimmy G type of quarterback.
Absolutely.
I'm not thrilled with either one of those comparisons. That's not very good at all. As a matter of fact, I don't think that's first round talent. No,
that's what it says. He again until his 40 time And
how
people are saying that he's going up draft boards. This is the media saying that he's going up draft boards.
Yeah. He's the darling of the week. But people are out there talking to him, right? You've got pro teams that are signing or sitting around doing their due diligence, I suppose. Didn't I just see that the Falcons?
We are. He's coming in for a top 30 visit.
Well, yeah, but we don't have a quarterback.
To Ashburn.
I just saw. Didn't the Falcons just send a contingency up there to talk to him? And it's like they just signed Kirk Cousins.
You have top picks. You're looking for quarterbacks. I want them to uncover every freaking stone.
Right.
That's a good question, Kim. It's playing one of those games. It's everybody knows the Bears are going after Caleb, but we don't have a shot at Caleb. But they're not going to announce it. I think it's also a dramatic factor. I think the NFL. Adam Schefter's made a little slip the other day. If people listen to his podcast, and said that
signs
we don't want to. We don't want to give anything away. That means the NFL, they want people tuned in and guessing on who the picks are going to be.
But, I can remember, and it's been a while now, but I can remember that the Texans have done that in the past where they've basically all but signed the guy prior to the first round. And I think that it behooves the Bears because, quite frankly, you have to sit back and you have to look at the Bears and you go, okay, they've put together this pretty decent offense right now. They've got a pretty good set of weapons over there.
They got a good defense too. They just got a shitty coach.
And that's the thing. They just gave the fucking number 1 overall pick to this moron, all right, who just took their last first round pick quarterback and had to trade him off Pittsburgh because he couldn't do anything with him. So I think that what the Bears are doing, hey, listen, we're going to have these fucking idiots convinced we don't know what the fuck we're doing, and nobody's going to know what to do. Right. And that's kind of where we are with the Bears right now. Nobody knows what the fuck they're going to do because I don't think anybody knows if the Bears know what the fuck they're going to do. They don't know.
The Bears are going to pick Caleb. Everybody know. Everybody. That's the
Adam Schefter just texted me and said, look, you got to
worst kept secret in the entire NFL right now. But yeah, I mean,
do you think JJ McCarthy goes to the Giants at 6? I honestly think that.
I think JJ McCarthy goes to whoever trades into that Arizona pick
4th. So Vikings probably.
And the Chargers could also trade back, and like him and Drake May are going to go probably.
Well, I tell you what. Look, here's one though. Would you what would you do here? Do you think Justin Herbert's better than any of these quarterbacks apart from Caleb Williams?
Bird in the hand.
Define better.
You already have a quarterback. There's no reason to go ahead and get one because none of these quarterbacks coming out, including Caleb Williams, is a sure thing.
No, anybody is, and you can already see that.
And Herbert.
But what I mean by that is if Harbaugh wants him that much, do you trade for Herbert?
No,
I don't think so.
No, no. Harbaugh went to San Diego for Justin Herbert.
Fair enough.
I mean, even Harbaugh can't tell you how good of a pro JJ is going to be. Nobody can. Nobody can tell you how good of a pro Caleb's going to be. Jaden going to be. Drake. Nobody can tell you that because they haven't played there. Because the pros are so much different. That's why these great quarterbacks coming out of college. That's why a lot of them fail because it's a total fucking different game.
It's a different sport.
It is the single biggest jump in all of sports, from the minor leagues to the pro leagues. It is the hardest position in all of pro sports. It is probably also the most glared at position in all of at least American pro sports. The quarterback, it doesn't matter where you go. If you're a first round pick, especially if you go to one of the bigger cities, your ass is in the spotlight, man. You better perform or you get taken apart. And that's what I think Kim is right. Nobody knows what we're going to do. And I'm glad you brought up Adam. I'm glad you brought up Adam Schefter, because if I could, for one, if I could muddy up my lens and say, look, I'm talking to you on a Nokia phone, then I'd look like Adam Schefter. I don't understand how it is that this guy has such a shitty fucking feed for his podcast and for his phone, for one. And for two, the other day he says, the signs are pointing at Jaden Daniels for Washington. And I'm like, what signs? What signs? If there's anything that our group has been, it's tight-lipped.
I still
It's
think
tight
our
list.
group hasn't 100% decided on which quarterback they're picking yet.
I don't know whether they ever not, but I tell you what, I don't think that anybody has the slightest inkling outside of that building because they ain't said nothing.
I think they are crossing every I and dotting every single T, and they're going to make their decision probably in the
That's how
next week or
Snyder did
so.
Dotted T's and
Snyder filled out the draft
Went all
card
backwards.
about 3 months before the draft even fucking happened.
Oh, if Snyder was in charge, we'd know who the pick is now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
100%.
Either that or we'd
No,
think we know who the pick
it's
is
a
until he
breath
ran
of
in the room.
fresh air that we don't know what the fuck's coming out of Commander Park.
True. Absolutely right.
You know,
Absolutely right.
that's
This is why I wonder where Schefter's getting what he's got because Schefter doesn't just say shit. You know, what I
Yeah,
mean,
but
Grant?
Schefter didn't
He's
say.
part of the machine
Yeah,
now.
they're probably going to. He said the signs are pointing. What?
Signs. What
What's
sign?
the
I'll tell you
signs?
what,
You know,
Marjorie
yeah,
Taylor Greene thinks that a solar eclipse is a sign of evil, and it's like, no, lady, we can predict those for centuries ahead of time. There's no sign of evil, you moron. So yes, signs. What signs? There are no signs of anything. The only sign that there is that you have a 45-minute wait to get in the stadium.
No.
All right, so we've talked about those top 4 quarterbacks. You want to bring up Bo Nix at all?
Not really.
Is there a
But
chance?
I think he's better than Penis.
Okay.
All right, then. All right, well, there you go. There's been the Bleeding Burgundy podcast quarterback talk. Everybody's been dying to hear what we have to say about all these quarterbacks. So we did. Is there anything else we'd like to talk about this evening? Scotty?
No, not for me. Next week's show. That's what we want to get on, John, don't we? Are we going to be doing?
Yeah.
You're going to
we
be
will.
Adam Peters.
All right, we're gonna we'll all be Adam Peters. So what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna try to run a mock draft on here in which we're gonna pick as the Commanders and see how well we do. There might be some other additional ideas that we come up with during the week to try to figure out how to make it a little better. I will tell you this: I'm getting more surgery on my face right there Tuesday, so I'll be in here with a big old freaking thing on my face. That'll look nice. And so yeah, man, we'll figure out how to do that. We're probably going
to wrestling mask.
The fact of the matter is we're probably going to do that. Yeah, I can wear Keith's wrestling mask if we could find Keith. Keith is lost in the rubble
He's
of
under
New Jersey.
That rubble.
Yeah, he's in the rubble of New Jersey. All right, so you threw my train of thought off, and which, by the way, I'm going to do that video montage I was talking about for the 200th episode, and I'm going to have at least 10 run-togethers of me forgetting where the fuck I am in my car.
All-timers, John.
That's right. So I completely forgot where I was. So we'll just look at some NFL defense coming up in the next several years.
Mariota throws in the end zone. Man is there.
Let's go, Jeff Driscoll. All right, I think we've officially hit the end of the show here, so I'm going to go ahead and put on our silly ass music. We'll say anything else that we got to say. Hey, anybody that's out there that's paying attention to this show right now, hey, thank you very much for tuning in and listening to us talk our bullshit. I hope you had a good time because that's basically what this is. This is not some show full of fucking analysts. I don't know if you know it, but when Scotty was doing his analysis, you could see the scroll of the computer screen on his glasses. So he's just reading it. But hey, man, we're a fan show. Y'all are fans. We're fans. Fans are stupid. We're going to be stupid. We're going to do some stupid shit. We're going to say some stupid shit, and then we're going to pretend that we didn't. How about you, Jessy?
I'd like to appreciate everybody in the chat.
absolutely.
Nice action there. Kim, thanks for being with us. Valance 81, nice to see you. Brian, appreciate it. Scouse Andy Lockhart, you foolish man. Deluxe, thanks for being here.
Why haven't I signed any free agents?
Jerry Holywater, thanks for joining us. Did I miss it? I know I'm missing a whole bunch of people. Hollywood, Deluxe, fucking all yous in there. Oh, you know we haven't seen Yam in a long time. I'm getting worried.
Just came back to the States.
Yam's back. Yam's here.
I'm worried about you, Yam. I'm worried about you.
I'm sorry, I got the wrong avatar on it. Yeah,
my nuts is out.
All right, and that's the end of the Bleeding Burgundy podcast. We will see you all again next Friday as we will do our much-awaited, much-anticipated mock draft.
And check out our sister show or brother show or other show.
We're gonna pronoun it later. Don't forget to throw it any fucking.
Y'all make sure you check out the 1 Point Safety Show with Scouse and Scotty.
Yeah.
You can check it out, man. It's got good stuff on there. Awesome interview with F.A. Obata from Thursday. So please go check that out.
Yes. And for all you first responders in New Jersey, if you should find any part of Keith, please let us know.